Well, hello and welcome to the candy wallpapered upstairs hallway of the dollhouse for another reading from The Secret Language of Birthdays by Gary Goldschneider and Joost for August 9th, the day of psychological leverage. Ooh, that's a mouthful. Hey, what do we got here? For the eyes to feast upon at the top of the page, your visual representation of the day of psychological leverage. Well, it is like some old-timey dumbbells, a feather, and one of them bricks for like casting a mold of molten metal into a brick mold, perhaps. I'm not quite sure. The image is just too dark to be able to make heads or tails of. But hey, is that a representation of psychological leverage? I couldn't tell you, but that's what they chose for it. Any event, that's here nor there. It's your birthday today, right? So I just want to extend you a heartfelt happy birthday. I'm trying to connect with you. I want to wish you a happy birthday, all right? And if you find this video long or shortly after your day has come and gone, I hope you had a happy birthday. All right. But for everyone else who's just joining us randomly or out of curiosity, I want to extend you a heartfelt welcome and hope you enjoy yourself. All right, let's dive in. Oh, wait. What do we got to do first before we dive in with the birthday? We got to roll us some dice. That's right. And why do we do that? Well, this is the die cast, a birthday cast. So to live up to the namesake, we also do it for another reason, more importantly. For synchronicity's sake, that's right. And what do we roll us today? Ooh, we got us some double twos. That's right. A 2 in the root, or 10 a 2 in the crown. Now, for you New Age chakra folks, how you apply those numbers that way? No telling. I couldn't tell you. But hey, you know what your numbers are today. And what's synchronicity for everyone else who doesn't know? Well, hey, it's just going out in the world and looking for those twos, maybe the 2 and 2 for a 4, and going after it, seeing where it takes you. And a lot of times the universe will take you on the primrose path and line things up. And just, you'll see all sorts of interesting things sometimes. And sometimes maybe they're not that interesting. Maybe the fact that it's taken you to a place and you happen to see another 2 or another 4, and it's just all lining up, that in and of itself is what makes it captivating and interesting. And it's just the universe showing you it's looking out for you. And sometimes you might miss something or some sign, but hey, it's going to happen again. Because you know what? The universe is there for you. That's right. At least that's the hope, right? In the event. Yeah, get you out and look for your 2s and your 4, all right? But hey, now let's get serious. Let's dive in with your birthday read, all right? Your month is August, your day is the 9th, and your sign is 15 to 17 degrees Leo of the Leo 2 period specifically. And your quality and element is fixed fire. All right. August 9th, the day of psychological leverage. Those born on August 9th can be a tower of strength for those dependent on them. Excellent team players, they give definition to any group endeavor in which they are involved. Those certainly gratified by positions of leadership, those born on this day do not necessarily indulge their egos at the expense of the common good. Fighters, they are usually on the side of the average man, and whose psychology they understand well. August 9 people know what makes others tick. As students of human character, they are not only adept at sizing people up, but also know how to approach them, and when necessary, convince them of what is best for everyone concerned in a situation. Thus, they have many ideas about how people may best enjoy their lives, how they can get what they need, and how they can best proceed politically or socially. Therefore, those born on this day can sometimes be too generous with their advice, as well as too controlling and dominating. They must allow more for others to decide what is best for themselves. August 9 people are not only good persuaders, able to win others over to their side, but feel a great measure of responsibility for those who follow their advice or come under their wing. This accountability to others can extend to almost any sector of life in which their influence comes to bear, say finances, morals, recreation, education, as a few examples. Education particularly interests many born on August 9th who give thought to methods of learning and how they may be improved or refined. Again, August 9 people must avoid intruding on the lives of those who would perhaps prefer to be left to their own devices. With their well-developed opinions and forceful personalities, August 9 people often exert undue influence on those they come in contact with, even casually. August 9 people rarely give up or admit defeat once they have embarked on a project, and they usually find their principal area of interest early in life and stick to it with great tenacity. Most born on this day make devoted parents and family members, but if forced by death or circumstance to remarry, will give their love again a second time without reserve. At times, August 9 people are capable of being insensitive to the needs of those they love, and that they may think they know what is best before giving their ear to requests or suggestions. It is very important that those born on this day have a trusted friend who can warn them when they get off track. Because August 9 people are powerfully influential, they tend to take a number of people with them when they take a wrong turn or make mistakes in their behavior or thought. Well, all right. Hey, that was quite the breakdown, I would say. It's pretty unique. I haven't read one quite like that. A lot of times you open up the horoscope in the paper, your news articles, and it just seems like it could apply to anyone, but this one seems awfully specific. So what did I have to say about the breakdown? Let's dive into the notes, shall we? A tower of strength for dependence. I don't know if that's something to be proud of or consider a burden. That's me personally saying that. But excellent team players, though. That's really something to be said for as much, considering how difficult it can be for people to put their egos aside when placed in such a situation. See, I hate working on a team myself, and oftentimes I'm either in the position of having to take charge, which I don't particularly like because most people are being passive and not really employing themselves, or you end up falling in line with somebody who is trying to realize their own singular vision, and trying to shift everybody into respective roles and make it go their way. And for those of us that aren't passive, well, that strikes an issue, doesn't it? Anyhow, it sounds like you know exactly how to fit in with those kinds of situations. It's like I said, it's quite the admirable quality. So it's a great quality to function, and it's function well in that way, as I said. Let's see here, which may speak to not indulging in ego and standing for the common man. How about that? Let's see, and you feel responsibility for the advice you give. I'd say a lot of people don't do that, right? Here we circle back to the burden I mentioned earlier, at least how I see it, right? Because if people take your advice and you feel responsible for it, hey, that's a huge burden, right? But at least you feel that versus folks who just spout advice from some on-high position, right? With no real actual regard. But it's interesting, maybe common sense, it's interesting, maybe even common sense, that they mention you can exert undue influence, which seems to run in conflict with the idea that you know what makes others tick, which suggests you know who not to give advice to, right? But who's to say? So there might be a little bit of a conflict there, in so much as what the book had to say. You know, it says you know exactly what makes people tick, so that would lead me to think you know who not to give advice to. But it says here, sometimes you give advice to folks who don't need it. I don't know. Just be mindful is what I wrote here. That's what I say. Endeavor to read the room. That is a skill in and unto itself. And as to this quality of rarely giving up once embarking on an endeavor, well, just know that you're in good company with that, because almost all the other Leos that I've read up until this point, they seem to have that trait as well. So if you're looking for someone else who doesn't give up, look for you another Leo, all right? Because you're a team player, right? And you got to get those people that you need on your team. What else I have to say here? And to that I say, let's see here. That's not right. I'm skipping ahead. So it seems to be a common through line. What isn't common, though, is the mention of tending to take people with you when you are on your way down, or you take a wrong turn, and you're making mistakes in your behavior as such. That I haven't read before. So take note of that. And if I'm going down with you, you're going down with me. Or if I'm going down, you're going down with me. That seems to be what they're saying you have a penchant for doing. Or maybe you just do it without realizing. But to that I say, And I like this for some reason, in a dark masochistic kind of way. Going down, you're going down with me. All right. It can't all be positive, can it? Okay. Hey, that probably sounded all disjointed when I was ad-libbing in there, but I think you get the idea. So let's move on to your numbers and your planets. All right. Those born on the 9th of the month are ruled by the number 9 and by the planet Mars. The number 9 is powerful in its influence on other numbers. Any number added to 9 yields that number. E.g., 5 plus 9 equals 14 and 4 plus 1 equals 5. And any number multiplied by 9 yields a 9. E.g., 9 times 5 is 45 and 4 plus 9 equals 9. And August 9 people are similarly able to influence others around them. And the planet Mars is forceful and aggressive, and it's enhanced for August 9 people by the hot influence of the Sun, which is Leo's ruler if you didn't know, and embodies male energy. Thus, August 9 women may seem sometimes to be a bit too pushy, and August men as overly aggressive. All right. Does that seem to be the case, you think? A little self-analysis there? Make sure you take the ego out of it now. All right, hey, what do I have to say about your numbers and your planets? Let's refer to the notes. Yeah, turn the page here. All right, number 9, the math number, as I like to call it. Anything added to its sum gets that much more convoluted, it would seem. All right, this one's a little jokey. You're going to have to bear with me. And that's a joke for having read this at least 9 times by now, and that speaks to all the seemingly unverifiable meaning and whatever powers that may ascribe to all of this. All right, but on a less hypocritical note, it's nice that they point out such forceful energies such as Mars, which is the male energy, and also the god of war, depending upon that Greek mythology, I believe, and the Leo sun power. All right. And it might speak to other forceful and authoritarian characteristics it proposes you may have. So just keep that in mind. Maybe those things affect you. I don't know what's to say. But hey, let's dive in to your tarot. All right. The more eclectic of the metaphysical practices as far as I'm concerned. But it's fun, it's free, it's interesting. So let's see what they have to say. 9th card of the major arcana is the Hermit, who walks carrying a lantern and a stick. And he represents meditation, isolation, and silence. That's right. And the card signifies crystallized wisdom and ultimate discipline. And the Hermit is a taskmaster who uses conscience to keep others on their own path. And the positive side of this card is stick-to-itiveness, purpose, profundity, and concentration. Negative meanings include dogmatism, intolerance, mistrust, and discouragement. And August 9 people should learn from it the value of withdrawal from the world and periodic examination of their values. Okay, this one was a little bit of a copy-paste job, but they did make it a little bit specific to you. What did I have to say? Crystallized wisdom and ultimate discipline. A utilizer of conscience to keep people on their own path. I'd say if everything in the breakdown holds true, this card is a great representation of your personality. It's almost as though it informed what was covered in the breakdown. Is that what happened? Who's to say? All right, but if it does hold true, be sure to withdraw occasionally and examine your values. You don't want to take anyone down with you, right? Or do you? All right. Maybe some folks you want to take down with you. That's right. Make sure you do it for those who are deserving of being taken down. That's what I say. All right, hey, let's dive in with your health. As they are so often involved in group endeavors, August 9 people generally have structured lives conducive to regular habits. Unfortunately, many August 9 people show more interest and concern for their health or for the health of others than they do for their own well-being. And if they would only listen to their own advice concerning necessary nutrients, exercise, and regular rest, they would remain extremely healthy. And because of their disregard to their own fitness, however, they must be periodically reminded by their mates, family, or friends to take better care of themselves. Ooh, look who's getting advice now instead of giving it out. All right. Hey, what I have to say about your health? Let's see here. Very interesting. All right. Not taking your own advice, eh? Hey, I reckon if we're all guilty of it at some point in our lives, right? For specific topics, maybe, or issues. Maybe yours is just the health stuff, you can't be bothered, right? So, just be it with health or otherwise. So pick your poison, which one you decide to disregard. See, I'd argue that the best way to avoid that is not giving advice, all right? But maybe that's paradoxical considering it's in and of itself a form of advice, right? But yeah, don't forget about you, all right? I'm not giving advice, just don't forget about yourself, all right? Remember your own welfare. Because if you don't, you won't be here very long. That's right. Or you won't be in a good mood to give out that advice. That's right. Okay. Hey, let's dive in with some advice. That's right. We just got into some advice there. All right. What you believe to be true for the welfare of others is not always for the best. Remember the power of your words. Have the control. Remember the power of your words. Have to control. This is written wrong. Have to control and to hurt. That's what it says. Let's see. Therefore, beware of undue influence on the lives of others and learn to listen carefully. I think what they're saying is remember the power of your words, have the ability to control and to hurt. See, how am I not a writer? All right, let's see what I have to say about your advice. Okay. Read the room. I think we drilled down on that before. And take the ego out of it. I know it said earlier that you don't have none, but this, again, seems to run contrary. You have to have a little bit of ego if you're speaking up and giving folks advice. But again, I guess that depends on how you deliver it, right? Because I prefer to talk about things I've heard work, for other people. And I just kind of spout it like that. A more diplomatic way of throwing it out there. And that way it's not advice, right? You're just throwing out ideas to be considered, I suppose. Anyhow, maybe consider that if this happens to be an issue. But I'm sure you already know all this because you are one of them people who's good at giving advice. That's right. Okay, let's dive in with your meditation. Some people do their best work sleeping. That's right. Once again, some people do their best work sleeping. Right. Hey, I'm not going to try to break that down for you. That's your meditation. And more precisely because I don't know what it means. I don't have any take on it. In any event, let's dive in with your strengths and your weaknesses. All right. Your strengths, you're structured, you're altruistic, and you're thoughtful. And your weaknesses, are you ready? Hold your breath. What do we got? You're righteous, authoritarian, and prodding. Ooh, nobody likes a prodder. I don't know. Those are pretty tame weaknesses. Well, authoritarian, maybe not. Anyhow, let's move on to those born on this day so we can get us a nice little snapshot of the people who share your company and maybe get an idea for the things they do. If you're one of these people who doesn't really know what to do with their lives, which I've met a lot, it seems to be a common through line. We can see how famous folks from your birthday applied themselves and what they did and how they made use of everything that we have written down in the breakdown. And maybe at the same time, we can see how it applies. And even I think you get the idea. Let's just dive in with it, buddy. All right, those born on this day. We have Jean Piaget, who was a French child psychologist and an intelligence expert. We have Marvin Minsky, a computer scientist and the artificial intelligence pioneer and writer of robotics. We also have Whitney Houston, the singer and film actress. We have John Smith, the 3-time world champion wrestler. It says he was 137 pounds, and a U.S. Olympic 2-time gold medalist, and the only wrestler to ever win the Sullivan Award, whatever that is. We have Bob Cousy, the Boston Celtics basketball guard, and a 10-time All-NBA first team. He was also an MVP and an 8-time top-end assists and led Celtics to 6 NBA titles. Funny, I've never heard that guy's name before. Maybe I have. In the event, we've got Rod Laver, Australian tennis champion, only 2-time Grand Slam winner and 4-time Wimbledon champion. We have John Dryden, the British poets, Ralph Howick, was or Hoke, I don't know, Houk, a New York Yankees baseball manager, and the 3 AL championships and 2 World Series victories. We have Jacques Parisio, perhaps, an economics professor and a Quebec party leader. David Steinberg, the comedian. Sam Elliott, the actor. We have Robert Aldrich, the TV film director of The Longest Yard and also a producer. We have Zeno Francescatti. I'm not quite sure. That helps if I throw the accent on her. The violinist. We have Dion Sanders, spelled Deion, baseball outfielder and football defensive back and an NFL All-Pro. We have Brett Hull, the hockey right wing and an NHL MVP, Bobby's son, and he holds the right wing scoring record with 86 goals. We have Mario Zagallo, a Brazilian soccer star and captain and coach of the World Cup champion. We have Joe Jackson, singer-songwriter, and we also have Philip Larkin, another British poet, and Isaac Walton, a British 17th century writer of the Campliat Angler, a fisherman of some sort, apparently. In any event, your season is summer. Your sign, once again, is Leo, of the Leo 2 period specifically, and your quality and elements is fixed fire. And this has been August 9th, the day of psychological leverage, from The Secret Language of Birthdays by Gary Goldschneider and Joost. I have an affiliate link for this book down in the description if you're interested in picking up a copy and diving in deeper and seeing some of the other days. It's interesting to read other people's birthdays, people you know and such. And if you're a team builder, you working in them teams, you maybe want to find out some stuff about them folks. This will help you do that, I reckon. There. In any event, hey, once again, I just want to say happy birthday. And for everyone else who joined us, I hope you enjoyed yourself and you join us for your birthday. You take care of yourself, all right? And you got your own welfare to look out for every now and then. And that's not advice. That's just me extending to you an idea. All right. Take care of yourself.